Wait. Could we actually win this thing? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And welcome back to another episode of Early Access, my series of match previews, where we take a look at Chelsea's next opposition, identify any danger men, tactical interests, or things we need to look out for. So it is time to turn our attention to the next match in the Club World Cup against old foes Palmeiras. And I say old foes because the last time we actually went up against Palmeiras was in the Club World Cup, albeit it was the final. Chelsea took on Palmeiras in the 2022 Club World Cup final, and we just about walked out 2-1 winners with an extra time penalty from Kai Havertz. He didn't do much for us, but he loved a big moment in a big game, didn't he? Interestingly enough, there are only 2 players in our current squad that are still remaining from that time, and that is our captain, Reece James, and believe it or not, Trevor Chalobah. So there's some history, and you would have to think that Palmeiras are probably interested in getting some Rwenge. So each team's experience in the Club World Cup so far has been vastly different. Chelsea finished second in our group with 2 wins against LAFC and Esperance de Tunis, and the game we lost was against a Brazilian side, Flamengo, and they battered us. But we're coming off a good game, albeit with some crazy happenings. If you haven't already, go and check out my match review for the Benfica-Chelsea game where we won 4-1 amidst crazy circumstances. And in comparison to our Club World Cup journey so far, Palmeiras are actually currently unbeaten in the tournament. Although maybe that sounds flashier than it actually is, they got 2 draws and a win in the group stage, and they knocked out Botafogo 1-0 in their first match of the round of 16. So arguably we're going into this with better form, and it's really interesting, isn't it? Because the South American teams have been doing so well, and there's a few reasons for that. The first of all being they are used to playing in extreme heat, and the second of all being they're actually in the middle of their seasons, whereas obviously we have just come to the end of ours, and you would argue fatigue is probably much more of a factor for European teams than it is for the South American teams. So it's going to be interesting without a doubt. I do not think this is a game we can take lightly. Although we beat Palmeiras before and we have taken care of most of the opposition that you would expect us to, that loss against Flamengo still stings a little bit. And it's fair to say Palmeiras have some key danger men in their squad, one of which we are all very excited to see, and that is now Chelsea youngster Estevão Willian. So I've seen a few highlights and I've been keeping up. He's been doing well. He's definitely been one of the big danger men for Palmeiras so far. But there's something different about this game, isn't there? This isn't just an 18-year-old from Brazil taking the opportunity to play a big European team. This is Estevão Willian looking to prove his point to Enzo Maresca that he deserves a spot in this team. If we get knocked out by Palmeiras and it's because Estevão Willian has an unbelievable game, then although we will obviously all be disappointed to not be in the competition anymore, there will be something really good to take away from that. So aside from Estevão Willian, there are a couple of interesting names in the squad that European fans and Premier League fans in particular might be familiar with. Felipe Anderson is in the squad, and for anyone that remembers, he was a young Brazilian left winger who played for West Ham for a time. He had spits and spots, a few good moments, but ultimately never lived up to the hype of when he arrived. Another interesting name is one for the future. Vitor Reis has just been signed by Man City for £29 million, and he's not in the Premier League yet, but it will be interesting to see what he can do against big Premier League opposition. So as far as Palmeiras go, not lots of recognisable and scary faces. For instance, Benfica had the likes of Nicolas Otamendi and Angel Di Maria, whose combined trophy cabinet is unbelievable, but a couple of faces that we already know and definitely some we need to watch out for. So before we get into my predicted lineup, it is worth noting that Moises Caicedo is not going to be available. He's picked up too many yellow cards across the tournament and has a 1-match ban, so will not feature in this game. But with another interesting new face potentially going to join the fray, that's maybe not a huge issue. I'm just going to stop the video for a second. If you guys are enjoying the content and would be interested to see some more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Every single click that you guys are doing means the world to me. I've been at this for a month and I'm starting to build a small community and I'm starting to make friends and have real interesting chats with people. And I want to meet more of you. I want to talk to more of you. I want to build my own little community in my own small corner of YouTube where we can talk Chelsea, get involved and have a good time. So thanks. Sorry guys, I'll get back to the video now. So without further ado, let's get into my predicted lineup against Palmeiras in the Club World Cup. And as always, we start with the goalkeeper, and as always, I hate this part because I have to say Robert Sanchez gets it. He had a couple of really shaky moments in that Benfica game, didn't he? He's actually been pretty good for the most part, but watching him in that Benfica game was just like, oh, there it is, there's the Robert Sanchez that, although he didn't cost us anything, he had some of those anxiety-driven moments that make your heart race and, and I imagine probably puts the rest of the players on edge around him as well. But ultimately, he's the only keeper that's played for us. He's played for us the most this season. It's too risky to throw a Mike Penders in at this point. And Jorgensen, although he's actually featured in the competition, is just not up to scratch in terms of this kind of event. So, Robert Sanchez gets the spot in goal. And for the back line, we'll start with Captain Reece James on the right, as always. That free kick against Benfica, man. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, of course you've seen it. If you're watching this video, you've seen the Reece James free kick. But if there's the tiniest chance that you haven't, go and watch it. It was stunning. Reece James is in excellent form. He's been fit for a really long time and locks down that spot at right back as far as I'm concerned. On the left-hand side, it's the fiery Marc Cucurella. And I just love watching this guy play, man. He's got so much fire, great technique. He's so versatile. Like in the last game, he was like an auxiliary left winger, which is, again, Enzo Maresca says, hey, can you do this role? And he goes, yeah, sure, boss, why not? I'll do that. And he just performs really well every single game. So that's an easy one. We saw a little bit of that worrying temper from him in the last game, but for the left centre-back spot, I will go with Levi Colwill. He's just been good, man. He's just been good. It's not outstanding. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it doesn't feel like a Virgil van Dijk or anything like that, but he is definitely getting better with each game. He's mostly getting more mature, apart from those tiny little scary moments and outbursts. And for me, Levi Colwill is a no-brainer to take the left centre-back spot in this game. And for the right centre-back spot, I said it last time, I'm going to say it this time, it's Tosin Adarabioyo. Mostly that for me is because we still haven't got a clear indication about whether Trevor Chalobah is going to be sticking around or not. And honestly, if I knew that Trevor Chalobah wasn't going to get sold, I'd say play him in this game. I get the feeling that we're probably going to keep Tosin Adarabioyo. He essentially equates to the most experience we've got in this team, and he's been performing pretty well. He's had a couple of shaky moments, but he's got a goal. So for me, Uncle Tosin gets the start. Okay, now for the midfield pivot. So in Moises Caicedo's usual role, I'm going to go for Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia was actually looking great in the last game. Really, really good. He seems to be shaking off those injury blues that he had for a little while and is getting back to his best self with last-minute tackles, great passes, and really, really good reading of the game. He's quite a different kind of player to Moises Caicedo, but even when he's been playing with Moises Caicedo, he is locking down that midfield spot that sits in front of the centre-backs and tries to make things happen, makes the odd run, and connects things together. For me, Romeo Lavia, in the absence of Moises Caicedo, obviously gets that spot. As for the more attacking Romy number 8, I'm going to go with vice-captain Enzo Fernandez. Since his unbelievable showing in the Esperance game, Enzo Fernandez is being put in the centre of attack, and I just don't think that role really suits him. I think he kind of does his best work when he sits a bit deeper. He's got more license to see what's going on at field and try and make things happen and make runs to try and arrive in the box and stuff like that. For me, I like him as a deeper midfielder. I understand that it's not always about putting him a bit further up because that's the best thing for him to do, but it can be about compensating for other issues we've got in other areas. For instance, because of our left wing situation being what it has been, Maresca opted to try Cole Palmer in that left channel with Cucurella kind of taking care of the wide side of it. So Enzo Fernandez ended up playing almost like a advanced right 10 kind of role. Personally, I don't think that's where he plays his best football. Obviously, I'm not the manager. Maresca knows what Enzo Fernandez can do much better than I can, but you would have thought due to Caicedo not being available and with one of the other interesting additions we might have to this team, which I will get to shortly, for me, Enzo Fernandez gets that other midfield pivot spot. So this is where things start to get interesting. So for the attacking midfield 3, I'm going to start with the centre, and it is putting Cole Palmer back in that central spot. I've recently released a video about Cole Palmer and offered something of an explanation to why he might be struggling for form right now. And that was based off the back of me making a rash comment on a YouTube thread that lots of people quickly came and give my head a shake, and I really appreciate them for that. Cole Palmer had a good game against Benfica, that's for sure. Although it was an unfamiliar position and it was quite experimental, he made it work, and I'm hoping that he can take that experience, bring it back into the centre where he's got a bit more freedom to drift to the right and try and get in those goal-scoring positions that we know he can do, and hopefully he just pushes on. At the right wing, it is Mr. Pedro Neto, because you just have to, don't you? Pedro Neto is quickly becoming one of the untouchables for me. He's starting to remind me of the likes of Moises Caicedo and Marc Cucurella, where he's just turning up and being consistent. And that's the most important thing for a footballer, right? Pedro Neto isn't exactly the kind of player that explodes one game and then goes missing for a few, a la someone like Madueke, for instance. Pedro Neto has slowly been improving since the moment he arrived at Stamford Bridge, and after a full year of being in the team and understanding what the manager wants of him, he seems to be really finding his home on that right wing for Chelsea. So for me, Pedro Neto gets the right spot, and that just makes sense, doesn't it? Disclaimer, my next shout is maybe a little bit overzealous, but I don't care. I am really excited to see this guy. It is João Pedro. We signed João Pedro what feels like out of nowhere because, you know, for instance, how all of the Jamie Gittins talks, right? It was protracted and it was imminent for weeks on end, and it was just always going on. And we've been talking about him for a really long time, since like the last January transfer window. And, you know, obviously the left wing spot has been a sore issue for Chelsea fans for a long while. And eventually it happened, but it was one of the world's worst kept secrets. As far as João Pedro goes, there's been talks on and off and stuff, but the actual deal just feels like it came out of nowhere. It didn't feel like the talks were advanced. We didn't really know much about amounts of money being offered. There have been some tentative talks about maybe we swap him for Dewsbury Hall or some stuff like that, but it absolutely didn't feel like we were that close to it. And if something was to happen, it felt like it might be after the Club World Cup. But no, Chelsea come out and surprised everyone with going in and paying the money for João Pedro and flying him out to join up with the Club World Cup squad. And you got to think Maresca is going to be really happy about that, right? Because as far as the left wing spot goes, we have been kind of sticking people in that side for a really long time now and just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Mudrik's gone. Sancho, gone. Neto plays well there, but he needs to feature on the right. And Madueke looks like he's starting to understand the role a bit, but still not really offering what we're looking for. So with a fresh, hungry João Pedro potentially available to play with this squad, I am just putting him straight in there. I wouldn't be surprised if Madueke gets the start and João Pedro comes on later in the game. But for me personally, I'm just going to put him on, and I really hope we take that risk. And that takes us to the number 9 spot, the striker. So, interestingly enough, Jackson's available again. So it's not quite as obvious as it was the last few games where we didn't have Jackson available. Mark Yu is far too young to be putting out in these games and too inexperienced, so Liam Delap goes there. So for me, it is Liam Delap again. And the reason for that is he is starting to build consistency. After this really short time he's been with the club, he obviously got his 1 goal in the game against Esperance. He played pretty well in the game against Benfica and had 1 goal ruled off for offside, and it was a Rizzler paper, as Rory Jennings would say. So I think you capitalise on that, right? Although nothing concrete, there are some rumours floating around about Jackson maybe not being untouchable anymore. There's been links to Man United and Arsenal, albeit tentative ones, but the links do exist. But we know no such thing exists with Liam Delap. He's got a goal and an assist in 3 games, and he's looking like he's starting to understand the guys around him. So for me, we carry on with that. It doesn't feel like an experiment anymore. It doesn't feel like a risk. For instance, putting Jackson on wouldn't be a bad idea, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Jackson make it in there. But for my personal predicted starting 11, I want to see Liam Delap score goals. I want to see Liam Delap link up with his teammates, and I want to see him build consistency. So yeah, for me, it's Liam Delap. And that's it, guys. That is my predicted 11 for the game against Palmeiras in the Club World Cup. So tell me what you think. Am I being too overzealous with putting João Pedro in straight away? Do you guys think Jackson deserves a chance to come back and challenge Liam Delap for that spot? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you guys have got ideas for your predicted 11s, I'd love to see them as well. Apart from João Pedro, ostensibly, I'm playing it quite safe. So I'm going to wrap it up there. That is my match preview for Palmeiras Chelsea. I will be doing a live stream. I actually tried one very randomly in the Benfica game. I was sat around waiting for the game to start again. I was sat here, camera, lights, microphone, everything in front of me. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Let's see if we can meet some people. I ended up connecting with a couple of people and it was really fun. I had a good time. So I'm going to be going live from 1:30 a.m. UK time. Oh, that's going to be rough, but it's going to be worth it. So if you want to watch the game and want someone to chat about it with, come and join the stream, talk to me, and let's have some fun. Nice one, guys. Thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video. I hope you guys are all having a wicked day, and I can't wait to catch up with you soon. Take it easy. Peace.